Right then, this is a bit of a new adventure for myself and for Alex, who is Antler to Oak. You'll have seen a few of my clients tagging him. Deer manager, former keeper, does sort of everything, a lot of pest control as well. So this channel initially is going to be a bit of a journey towards me getting my DSC1, DSC2, various other qualifications and bits of paper, as well as get my firearm certificate in. Alex holds a firearm certificate, has a number of rifles and a lot of permission. So going to be working together to get me through that process, learn more about deer, more about the countryside, how shooting works, how running shoots works, and how managing deer and pest control in the countryside can be used to sort of address the balance. Because I think for me, or from my point of view, we've sort of decided that nature should work in one way, and that's not how nature works. So unfortunately, people like us need to exist to readdress the balance. And, you know, the big thing that we're trying to push is it's sustainable. We're doing stuff with a view towards conservation, and it's about management rather than eradication. But I will let Alex explain what he does, what he's been doing, and sort of why I should listen to him.
Cheers, Dan. I'm Alex, Antler to Oak. As Dan said, deer management and game supply. So we manage deer all over the UK. For the reasons Dan said, we need to sort of address the balance. A lot of places that we shoot are manage the deer. They are on small pockets of land that normally have large numbers of deer on. So we come in to sort of assess it and address the problem that the landowner might have. We're going to take Dan out with us. As he said, we're helping Dan on his journey, and we're going to be taking him everything through the deer management, all the way through every step that we do. And we'll be doing other pest control, foxes, squirrels. We cover everything really. Anything to do on the land, we'll be there covering it and helping nature out with a balance. We supply the venison as well, so Dan will be with us doing the butchery side of it as well. So Dan will be learning everything. We'll be taking him through everything he needs to know for his DSC1. He knows quite a lot of it anyway. I know Dan can shoot. He's been out shooting me plenty of times. And then we'll be once he's got his firearms, we'll be progressing it even further. And we're looking towards getting Dan into his DSC2. So we'll be getting Dan behind the rifle. He'll be shooting the deer, gralloching, inspecting, doing everything to earn his DSC2, so he can come out and work with us more often.
Yeah, so from my point of view, it's important to understand that we're going to be dealing with wild venison as well. There's a bit of a legal grey area where all deer are wild in the UK until they've been shot, and then they become the property of the land that they've been shot on. But for us, it's about managing actual wild populations where we're out causing damage that is either causing, you know, damage to livestock, damage to forestry areas, grazing, things like that. So we're actually going out, trying to work with farmers, work with landowners and estates to talk about readdressing the balance in nature. And then essentially the venison is a byproduct of a job that needs to be done. It happens to be a really delicious byproduct. It's also really high protein, low fat, really good amino acid and vitamin profile. So a lot of my clients are going to be eating venison. We're going to be trying to push it into sort of the sports world. And then the other side of everything is, as I'm sort of learning more about the process and learning more about what we need to use, going to be working with various brands, various different options for bits of kit, and talking about it from the point of view of someone who essentially doesn't know anything. So for me, the uses that I get out of certain rifles, optics, things like that are going to be from I think, the point of view of a wider population. And then as I get to learn more, we'll be working with different people. Alex has a lot of contacts in the industry who know sort of very specialized areas of things. We're going to be talking to them. It's part of my journey of learning as much as possible. It's also going to help sort of build a library of information where we're going out, doing different things, as well as every video we're going to try and have a section where we're actually learning something that can be helpful to other people. So today we're going to try and avoid the fog, get out on the hill with some catapults, air rifles, maybe some small ball shotguns, do a bit of pest control. We're also going to look at chronoing a rifle, which is down the line something that's going to be really important for ballistic calculations, and that will be sort of a section within this video where you can go, I don't necessarily need to see people walking around a hill, but I am interested in learning how to chrono things and how that can work with certain scopes. Then in the future we'll have some short reviews probably about Hikmicro scopes and anyone else, as well as like Daystate air rifles working all the way through their range, and just releasing shorter videos where we're talking about experiences using certain bits of kit. Alex obviously with the firearm side, until I have my firearm certificate. It'd be kind of silly of us for me to go, oh yeah, I'm out shooting this rifle by myself, when that's massively illegal. So Alex will be looking after that side, explaining different bits of kit, and just trying to show people the journey. There are loads of people who do this, but this is me starting essentially from zero and going all the way through the process. But we are going to crack on. We'll get out on the hill, and yeah, hopefully people enjoy this channel and these sort of mini series within it. Ready?
Let's go.
Doing and why.
Right, we've got Dan's Daystate. We're going to quickly put it through the chronograph. We're going to see the consistency of the power through this. It's my first time using this and holding it actually. It feels quite nice. And then we can use all the data and we can put it into his Alpex. So its Alpex can do its thing and it's got all the correct data. And I'll show Dan a few things on this to try and get the best out of the scope we can for this rifle.
So we are getting the Huntsman Revere Safari through the chronograph, see how consistent it is, see what sort of feet per second we're getting, and then that data can go into the Hick scope, marry them together a bit more than I've already managed to, and then we'll get out on the hill and do a bit of pest control. That's 186. .185. 185. Club one more. .185. I mean, you can't really argue with consistency. I think it's a HEMA regulator inside that just makes sure that the pressure out of the tank isn't necessarily what's coming down the barrel. It balances it out, gives us nice consistent shooting to put in the Hick scope, and then we'll get some footage from the scope as well whilst we're out on the hill and try and put it to some good work.
Right, 5. Hick 4. That's right. Good.
So we are out in the woods and looking for some squirrels. Gonna maybe have a go at a bit more pest control as we go around. A few shots, a few dead squirrels, which is what we want. Just trying to thin them out. They're pretty destructive around here. Grey squirrels as well are massively invasive, so we just want to keep the numbers down, control what we can. Still using the Daystate. It's doing really nicely. It's shooting quite well. Shoots reasonably flat. We're not taking silly range shots because at the end of the day we're here to do a job. We're trying to get things controlled. We're not out here trying to pretend we're snipers. We're trying to actually do some pest control, and making sure things are dead is more important than saying big numbers when you talk about shooting. But as I said when talking about the Daystate in a review video about it, the only downside for me, or one of the major ones, is the inability to put a sling on it as it is. I think if it was my rifle I would have drilled a few holes in it, but Alex has got a Vaughan sort of rifle carrying backpack, fits really nicely in there, really comfy. Pull the ripcord and away we go. So it's been nice to use that, using decent set sticks as well. Good thing for me as well is with wanting the DSC and firearms and to get into the deer, it's been quite handy to watch Alex shooting and learn about, you know, the right way to do things, and then sometimes the ground or positions don't allow that, so you end up sort of using the sticks in a bit more inventive ways. But you know, that trigger discipline and muzzle discipline is the same from a sub 12 foot-pound up to whatever large caliber deer rifle we're using. So the safety aspect's the same, making sure rifle's safe and yeah, keeping control of what we're doing. But we're slowly bringing the numbers down, and any time walking around the woods isn't a bad one. Right, as you'll have seen, been walking around, I've said probably more times than I should have about the Huntsman not having a sling on it, so borrowed a Vaughan bag off of Alex. I've realised that we just chucked it in the bag, we're walking on the hill. So we've got back to the little base camp, and I just wanted to quickly explain what we're doing. The rifle sits in the bag, you get a pull cord here, you grab the rifle, pull the thing, and then the rifle comes around. The rifle is unloaded and unsafe. But for me, that is absolutely perfect. I would say the only issue, and it's potentially absolutely impossible to solve, is that once you've taken the rifle out, you either need someone to put it back in, or you take it off and put it in yourself. But I will quickly explain that on something like this, that it sits in the side, this is adjustable, and we've been putting this in scope first. That goes in, and then your orange tabs close it up. One thing we noticed the other night whilst we were out looking after some foxes is you can't put a scope with an infrared torch in, or to be more precise, the scope we had and the torch we had wouldn't go in, which means you have to take it off, put it back, take it off, put it back. I don't know if that's something that's easily solvable, but I would be aware that if you're out in an evening, it can be a bit of a faff. It's not too bad if you know you're sort of setting up in the corner of a field and ambushing stuff, but if you're walking around and you quickly spot something, be aware that there is an extra amount of time in order to refit your infrared torch. But overall, super comfy, really not an issue. As we said, we're going to be really transparent. If something has been paid for, it's been paid for. This is one of those things. If we got it for free, you'll know we got it for free, or if we've had it to test. But we'll be honest with everyone about that, and it's not going to affect anything we say, because we're just going to be honest. Because at the end of the day, there are separate groups within shooting. Some people earn a lot of money, some people don't have a lot of money, and we're closer to the second half of that. So if we're recommending something to people, it's because we would spend money on it, or we have spent money on it. Equally, if we say it's not worth it, it's because there's maybe a cheaper alternative, different alternative, or just wait a little bit and see what's coming out with new technology. But no, really good pack, really nice to wear on the hill, and yeah, it doesn't get in the way. Once you're used to having something above your head as well, you're not getting caught on branches or anything like that. Right, well, that is an afternoon walking around the woods, knocking some squirrels on the head. It was also a really good chance to get out with the Daystate in a bit of a different environment. And as you'll have seen, using the Vaughan backpack that I borrowed off Alex, because obviously the Daystate rifle I've got doesn't have the ability to have a sling on it without drilling holes in it. It's not my rifle. I'm not going to drill holes in it. But that Vaughan bag was really helpful. I think it was... it would just be a nightmare. And later on in the evening, took Cadbury out with us. And again, like having a dog, a rifle, sticks, and trying to film stuff, either a sling or a bag like that is pretty useful for what we're doing. I know Alex uses it a lot whilst he's out on the hill as well. So we'll probably do a bit more of an in-depth video about that backpack down the line. It's been paid for, so the good and the bad will be talked about. The same with, to be honest, things that haven't been paid for. We're going to be pretty brutal or pretty fair, I would say, with our reviews of everything that we use. But really good day out. Half a dozen squirrels, which, considering we were trying to film stuff and we're actively quite bad at trying to film stuff, was, yeah, a good day out, and found a very foxy area of the hill that we will go and have a look at. But we've tried filming ourselves at night, and we are somehow worse than we are in the day. So that is one for the future. But yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to Alex for putting us on this permission for a walk around, and yeah, we'll carry on. I think, see what we can do. But yeah, I think overall success. Alex's first time using the Daystate. I think it was good.
Yeah, very good. I enjoyed using it. Not used an air rifle for a while, so it was good fun.
Much less bangy than the Fong guns, but
oh yeah, nice and quiet. Trying to sneak around the woods. Yeah, squirrels gave us a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so challenges. Got to talk about plenty of stuff whilst we're up there. So no, yeah, good afternoon out, and hopefully you've learned a bit more as well.
Yeah, I mean the big thing for me is like you learn to use a set of sticks, as I did from watching a YouTube video that says they must be on a totally solid platform, and it has to be, you put the gun at the front and you walk it forward to rest the back on. But the reality is, like when you're out shooting in real life, the floor is very rarely flat or solid. So seeing that, maybe putting the sticks together and resting your elbow on it to get a bit more of a solid position, and contorting yourself around the landscape using the sticks almost as an extra limb, I think is going to be not necessarily useful for my DSC-1 where you're shooting in a field, but for real shooting, which is what we're trying to show and what we're trying to talk about, it's not, if anything, it's almost never going to be perfect.
No, it's you definitely looked at me like I had two heads at some points when I was using the sticks to get on funny angles at squirrels, but I think it quickly made sense to what I was trying to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's very easy to learn how to do things from a book, or how to do things, watching YouTube videos of people who are maybe more skilled at making content than we are, who go, we're going out to film a video about this. So the ground will be perfect, the rifle, everything will be perfect for them. But like talking about where like Alex is shooting deer and where I'll be shooting deer later in the year, you have to make do and you have to adapt and you have to get used to what you've got. And I think even getting the air rifle through the chrono, knowing that once we realise that meters per second and feet per second are slightly different by a factor of 5 and a bit, we can actually hit where we're aiming at, which sounds really daft, but when you're putting a lot of trust in a digital scope, knowing that it's got the right information to work with is really reassuring. And I should have done it ages ago.
No, yeah, it was good to see it, and it was nice and consistent. I think when we had it on meters per second, within 1 meter per second, it kept firing pellets out, which is really impressive. I'm very impressed. I mean, it's better than most rifles I think I shoot. So yeah, yep. No, really good.
But no, that is it. And yeah, thank you for watching. And at some point there will be more. We're going to try and be more consistent than I've ever been with content.